a Wikividi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Anthony Joshua. Anthony Olafemi Olaseni Joshua is a British professional boxer. He is currently a unified heavyweight world champion and holds 3 of the 4 major world championships in the sport, the IBF title since 2016, the WBA title since 2017, and the WBO title since March 2018. He has also held the EBO title since 2017, and at regional level he held the British and Commonwealth heavyweight titles from 2014 to 2016. Joshua represented England at the 2011 World Championships as an amateur in the super heavyweight division, winning a silver medal. He also represented Great Britain at the 2012 Olympics, winning gold. In 2014, a year after turning professional, he was named Prospect of the Year by The Ring magazine. In 2017, Joshua's victorious fight against Vladimir Klitschko was named Fight of the Year by The Ring and the Boxing Writers Association of America. Joshua is the second British boxer, after James DeGale, to win both a gold medal at the Olympics and a world title by a major professional sanctioning body, as well as being the first British heavyweight to do so. As of September 2018, Joshua is ranked as the world's best active heavyweight by The Ring, the Transnational Boxing Rankings Board, and BoxRec. Known for having exceptional punching power, Joshua has finished all but one of his fights to date by knockout. Early life. Joshua was born in Watford, Hertfordshire, to a Nigerian mother, Yetta, and an English father of Nigerian and Irish descent, Robert Joshua. Specifically, Joshua is of Yoruba ethnicity. His cousin, Ben Lumi, is also a professional boxer. The pair made their professional debuts together in 2013. Joshua grew up for some of his early years in Nigeria as a boarding school student. Following his parents' divorce at age 12, he returned to the UK halfway through Year 7 to join King's Langley Secondary School. Growing up on the Meriden estate in Garston, Hertfordshire, Joshua was called Femi by his friends and former teachers, due to his middle name, Olafemi. He excelled at football and athletics and broke the Year 9 100 metres record with a time of 11.6 seconds. Amateur career. A late starter in the sport, Joshua only began boxing in 2007, aged 18, when his cousin suggested he take it up. His club, Finchley ABC in Barnet, North London, is also home to professional heavyweight Derek Chisora. Joshua won the 2009 and 2010 Haringey Box Cup. Joshua won the Senior ABA Championships in 2010, in only his 18th bout, and later turned down £50,000 to turn professional. Turning down that £50,000 was easy. "I didn't take up the sport for money, I want to win medals." He also went on to win the same tournament the following year. In 2010 his domestic success earned him a place on the GB boxing team. And later the same year he became British amateur champion at the GB Amateur Boxing Championships after defeating Ami Nisa. In June 2011 at the 2011 European Amateur Boxing Championships he beat Eric Berriklin and Cathal McMonagle, but was stopped by aggressive Romanian southpaw Mihai Nista after receiving several standing counts. In October 2011 he was named Amateur Boxer of the Year by the Boxing Writers Club of Great Britain. Joshua had an amateur record of 43. 2011 World Amateur Boxing Championships. During the 2011 World Amateur Boxing Championships in Baku, Azerbaijan, Joshua marked his sudden arrival on the world scene when he beat Italian reigning world and Olympic champion Roberto Camarel, and went on to stop Eric Pfeiffer of Germany in the semis before losing by a single point to local boxer, Magomedresl Majidov, winning a silver medal. En route to the final, Joshua secured his place at the 2012 Olympic Games in the 91 kg division as a relative newcomer to the elite level of the sport. 2012 Olympic Games. Joshua went into the 2012 London Olympics as a novice on the international scene, despite being a world silver medalist. He received a tough draw in the last 16 of the super heavyweight event in Cuban Erislandy Savon, ranked number 4 in the world by Iber and nephew of the 3-time Olympic champion Felix Savon. The home boxer battled through 3 tough rounds in his opening contest before being given the result 17-16. This decision caused some controversy, with most observers believing Savon had clearly won the bout, whilst a few others taking the view that he had won on merit. In his next bout he fought 2008 Beijing Olympics silver medalist Zhang Zhiliai, dropping his taller opponent in the middle round. Joshua won by 15-11, guaranteeing at least a bronze medal. In the semi-final Joshua met Kazakh boxer Ivan Dichko, and despite Joshua's height disadvantage he won by 13-11 victory, gaining a place in the Olympic final. Joshua met 32-year-old reigning Olympic champion and former twice world champion, Roberto Camarel of Italy, in the closing bout. After conceding the first 2 rounds to Camarel, an adversary he had already beaten the previous year, Joshua grew into the fight and fought back to level the scores after the 3rd round. Joshua was announced winner via countback and the new Olympic champion. The final decision was criticized by some boxing experts, being defined as a home decision. He was appointed member of the Order of the British Empire in the 2013 New Year Honours for services to boxing. Early career. On the 11th of July 2013 it was confirmed that Joshua had turned professional under the Matchroom Sport promotional banner. Joshua made his professional debut on the 5th of October 2013 at the O2 Arena in London in the main event of a card featuring Scott Quigg's successful WBA super bantamweight title defense against Yoandris Salinas, beating Italian Emanuele Ulio by a TKO in the first round. Joshua's second professional fight was against English heavyweight Paul Butlin at the Motorpoint Arena in Sheffield on the 26th of October 2013. The bout was stopped in the second round when the referee decided Butlin was taking too much punishment and declared Joshua the winner by TKO. Joshua's third professional fight was on the Prize Fighter Series card against Croatian Vječko Kishik on the 14th of November 2013. Joshua got a TKO victory in the second round, achieving his 3rd knockout victory in a row. In February 2014, Joshua scored a second-round TKO victory over Dorian Dutch to take his record to 4-0. The following month, on the undercard of Ricky Burns against Terence Crawford, Joshua defeated Hector Alfredo Avila with a first-round KO, in Glasgow, Scotland. In May that year Joshua knocked out Matt Legg in 1 round on the undercard of Carl Froch vs George Groves 2 at Wembley Stadium. In Joshua's 7th professional fight, on the 12th of July 2014, in the Echo Arena, Liverpool, he defeated Englishman Matt Skelton via second-round stoppage. In Anthony Joshua's 8th professional fight, on the 13th of September 2014, against German heavyweight Konstantin Erich, Joshua took his undefeated record to 8-0 with a third-round stoppage victory. In the Manchester Arena, Joshua was in the main event of a Matchroom Sport card for the second time in his career. In his 9th professional appearance for the vacant WBC International Heavyweight title against former champion looking to win the title for a second time Denis Buktov on the 11th of October 2014 at the O2 Arena in London, Joshua won the fight by knockout in the second round, taking his record to 9-0 and then winning the WBC International Heavyweight title aged just 24. In his 10th professional bout, on the 22nd of November 2014, Joshua defeated Michael Sprott within the first round to extend his record to 10 wins, all by stoppage. Going into this bout, as he had 9 bouts all not lasting longer than 3 rounds, his total careering time was just 35 minutes and 10 seconds, and after the bout it was just 36 minutes and 36 seconds in 10 bouts as a result of the bout lasting only 1 minute and 26 seconds. He was supposed to face American boxer Kevin Johnson on the 31st of January 2015 at the O2 Arena in London, but the bout was cancelled after Joshua sustained a back injury. On the 4th of April 2015, Joshua beat Jason Gavin as he collected a third-round knockout in his return to the ring in Newcastle. On the 9th of May 2015, in his 12th professional bout, Joshua defeated Rafael Zumbano Love in a second-round knockout in Birmingham. On the 30th of May 2015, Joshua defeated former world title challenger Kevin Johnson, inflicting the first stoppage in Johnson's career. After Johnson was saved by the bell in the first round, the fight was stopped by the referee shortly after the beginning of the second round. Prior to the fight, Johnson had taken the likes of Vitaly Klitschko, Tyson Fury, and Derek Chisora the 12-round distance. A day after the fight, Johnson announced his retirement, although he made a comeback in March 2017. British and Commonwealth champion. On the 16th of July 2015, it was announced that Joshua would fight undefeated Scottish boxer Gary Cornish for the vacant Commonwealth heavyweight title at the O2 Arena on the 12th of September. At the time of the fight, Cornish was the EBO Intercontinental Champion. Joshua won the vacant title by stopping Cornish at just 90 seconds in the first round. Cornish was knocked down twice before the fight was officially stopped. In the post-fight, Joshua said, "Gary had a solid jab, so I had to make sure I didn't take any of those shots. He was throwing a large jab and I tried to slip it. I managed to land the right hand, and it was a perfect connection and he went down." Joshua vs. White. Immediately after Joshua stopped Cornish, Hearn confirmed Dillian Whyte would next put his undefeated record on the line against Joshua. Joshua met Whyte in a grudge match for the vacant British heavyweight title on the 12th of December 2015, whilst also defending his Commonwealth heavyweight title for the first time. The fight took place on Sky Box Office. The two had previously fought within the amateur rankings in 2009, where Whyte had won. After surviving the first scare of his career in the second round, Joshua won the fight after initially shaking Whyte with a right hook to the temple and eventually finishing with a devastating uppercut for the knockout in the 7th round. It is said that Joshua earned £3 million for this fight alone, as a result of signing a new 5-year deal with Matchroom, which sees him take a share of the PPV revenue earned. Joshua vs. Martin. In February 2016, it was announced that Joshua would face IBF heavyweight champion Charles Martin on the 9th of April 2016 at the O2 Arena. Martin was making the first defense of the belt that he won in January after defeating Vyacheslav Glazkov for the vacant title in January 2016. Joshua set the pace in the first round and kept the southpaw Martin at bay before sending him to the canvas with a straight right hand in the second round. Martin got to his feet only to be knocked down for a second time by a similar punch just moments later. This time Martin failed to beat the count after taking too long to get up, and the referee waved the fight off, with Joshua winning his first world title. Martin was heavily criticized for his performance and apparent lack of ambition to win the fight. Observers accused him of quitting early, feeling that he could have got up quicker and fought on. Martin later placed the blame on the pre-fight distractions, claiming that he was mentally not there. At just 85 days, Martin's reign as IBF heavyweight champion was the second shortest in professional boxing history, with only Tony Tucker's 1987 reign being shorter. Joshua vs. Breazeale. Promoter Eddie Hearn announced a 3-man shortlist from IBF's top-ranking 15 boxers for Joshua's first defense of his title. This included former WBC heavyweight champion Bermane Stiverne and Eric Molina, both of whom were recently beaten by American WBC champion Deontay Wilder, alongside unbeaten upcoming fighter Dominic Breazeale. On the 25th of April, it was announced that Joshua's next fight will be against Dominic Breazeale on the 25th of June 2016 at the O2 Arena in London. Breazeale was ranked 13th by IBF, below British pair Derek Chisora and David Haye. Breazeale became only the second boxer, after Dillian Whyte, to take Joshua past 3 rounds. After a dominant performance, Joshua successfully defended his IBF heavyweight title with a magnificent 7th-round knockout win. Breazeale was dropped heavily by a huge left hand. After the fight, Eddie Hearn said Joshua could next fight IBF mandatory Joseph Parker, around November. The fight averaged 289,000 viewers on Showtime in the afternoon. The card averaged 227,000 viewers. A week after the fight was announced against Breazeale, Joshua announced a new multi-fight deal with US broadcaster Showtime. The fight screened live in the States by Showtime after they signed up as Joshua's exclusive US partner. Joshua vs. Molina. It was announced in August that Joshua would be making a second defense of his IBF title at the Manchester Arena in Manchester on the 26th of November. This would mark the first time since September 2014 that Joshua would be fighting in the city. Possible names put forward for the fight were top IBF contenders Kubrat Pulev and Joseph Parker. Former unified heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko became the front-runner after his scheduled rematch with Tyson Fury was cancelled a second time. A deal could not be finalized for Joshua vs Klitschko due to the WBA delaying a decision to sanction the fight and Klitschko injuring himself, which put the fight off completely. Klitschko said he would be looking to fight Joshua in the first quarter of 2017. Bryant Jennings and David Price were the names being pushed forward to fight Joshua next. However, it was announced Joshua would be fighting at the Manchester Arena defending his world title against former world title challenger Eric Molina, who was coming off a stoppage victory against Thomas Adamek, although being behind on the official scorecards. The fight was televised in the United States live on Showtime. After two one-sided rounds, which saw Molina hardly throw anything, Joshua knocked Molina out in the third round. He was first dropped after a right hand to the jaw. Molina beat the count, but was met with a flurry of punches, forcing referee Steve Gray to end the fight. According to Nielsen Media Research, the fight peaked at 390,000 on Showtime, with an average viewing of 368,000 viewers. On the 22nd of May 2018, UKAD issued Molina with a 2-year ban backdated from the 28th of October 2017 until the 28th of October 2019. Molina tested positive for dexamethasone, a corticosteroid, after his loss to Joshua. There was some controversy as Molina had fought twice after in 2017. Joshua vs Klitschko. On the 2nd of November 2016, the WBA agreed to sanction a unification bout between Joshua and Klitschko for the vacant WBA super title, previously held by Tyson Fury. The WBA agreement was, if Joshua retained his belt against Eric Molina, the fight would take place on the 29th of April 2017 at Wembley Stadium in London. After Joshua knocked out Molina in the third round, the Joshua vs Klitschko fight was officially announced by Hearn in the ring. WBA President Gilberto J. Mendoza confirmed that the winner will have to face mandatory challenger Luis Ortiz next, with deadlines due to be set after the unification fight. A day later, the IBF announced the winner must fight their mandatory challenger Kubrat Pulev. Because of this clashing with the WBA enforcing their mandatory, it was believed that either Joshua or Klitschko would have to vacate a title. In January 2017, Eddie Hearn announced that over 80,000 tickets had been sold, a new box office record, overtaking Carl Froch vs. George Groves 2. He put a request in for 5,000 more tickets to be made available. It was reported that Joshua would earn in the region of £15 million for the fight. At the weigh-in, Klitschko weighed in at 240.25 pounds, the lightest he had weighed since 2009. Joshua came in heavier at 250 pounds. In front of a post-war record crowd of 90,000 in attendance, Joshua won by TKO in a high-drama war that saw both men giving their all. They fought a close and cautious first 4 rounds. In the 5th, Joshua came out roaring and barraged Klitschko to the canvas. An angry Klitschko rose up and dominated Joshua for the remainder of the round, battering him and scoring his own knockdown in round 6. The next few rounds were again cautious, both men wary of each other, until a reinvigorated Joshua attacked Klitschko in round 11, sending him to the canvas. Klitschko again rose, but Joshua knocked him down for a second time in the round, then sent a barrage of punches while Klitschko was against the ropes that made the referee stop the fight. At the time of stoppage, Joshua was ahead on 2 judges' scorecards, 96-93 and 95-93. And the third judge had Klitschko ahead 95-93. CompuBox stats showed that Joshua landed 107 of his 355 punches thrown, and Klitschko landed 94 of 256. Joshua called out Fury in the post-fight interview. Tyson Fury, "Where you at, baby? Come on, that's what they want to see. I just want to fight everyone. I'm really enjoying this right now." In the press conference after the fight, Joshua said he would have no issues with having another fight with Klitschko. "I don't mind fighting him again, if he wants the rematch. Big respect to Vladimir for challenging the young lions of the division. It's up to him, I don't mind. As long as Rob thinks it's good, I'm good to go." Eddie Hearn said Joshua's next fight would likely take place at the end of the year, possibly at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff. The fight averaged 659,000 viewers on Showtime in the United States. It was shown live and the fight began around 5 p.m. ET and 2 p.m. PT. Nielsen Media Research revealed the fight peaked at 687,000 viewers, which was during rounds 5 and 6. This was an increase from Joshua's previous Showtime numbers that aired live during the late afternoon. The delayed tape replay on HBO was watched by an average 738,000 viewers and peaked at 890,000. In a press release, German TV channel Adler announced the fight was watched by an average 10.43 million viewers. The whole card averaged 9.59 million viewers. This was higher than the 8.91 million that tuned in to watch Klitschko vs Fury in 2015. On the 7th of June 2017, the IBF granted Joshua an exemption for him to rematch Klitschko instead of fighting mandatory challenger Kubrat Pulev. At this point, it was not said that the rematch would take place. Klitschko said he needed time to review his situation before agreeing to a rematch. It was only weeks after the fight, when Eddie Hearn filed the paperwork to the IBF to request the exemption to the mandatory defense. IBF explained that the rematch must take place no later than the 2nd of December 2017 and the winner must fight Pulev next with no exemptions. On the 2nd of August, Joshua revealed he would need to start a 3-month training camp on the 22nd of August, if he was to fight on the 11th of November, therefore hoping a fight with Klitschko would be finalized by then. However, on the 3rd of August 2017, soon after the IBF granted an exemption, Klitschko announced on his website and social media channels that he was retiring from the sport of boxing, thus ending the possibility of a Joshua v Klitschko rematch. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to